What's up, everybody? Welcome to our junior high interactive family experience. My name is Pastor Ethan, and I am so excited that you are participating today. Now, to kick things off today, I am going to ask you a question. And if the answer to the question is I am, or yes, or me, then I want you to stand up wherever you are and scream and shout as loud as you can. If you're watching early Sunday morning, I want you to wake up all of your neighbors. Are you ready? Here we go. Who's excited about the new stay-at-home orders? Oh, no one is? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I don't think anyone is excited about it. Okay, here's another question. I want you to respond in the same manner, yelling and screaming if you answer I am. Okay, here we go. Who's excited that it's spring break? I can't tell if you're screaming or not, but I'm sure that you on the inside, if you didn't feel like shouting at the top of your lungs, you are shouting on the inside today. Now, spring break kicks off tomorrow. No school for a week. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Vacation, visiting friends and family, driving around the province, maybe heading to the States for some spring deals. Oh, right, stay-at-home orders. Sorry, guys. I guess it's just like a normal week, except you don't have to go to school. Listen, life may not be exactly how we all want it right now, but look at the bright side. You've got an entire week with the family, and if you let this week pass by with, lots of grumbling about what should and could be, you'll miss out on a full week that you'll never get back. You'll miss out on moments like this. So make sure that this is a great week and you enjoy time with your family. Now, let me quickly tell you what our time will look like today at junior high. We're gonna have some friendly family competition. We're gonna head into week 3 of a series called No Matter What. And then all throughout our teaching video today, we're gonna pause for some discussion time. Now, parents, today, you are gonna lead your students in a few different activities and discussions, and those discussion questions can be found and downloaded from an email that I sent out this past week. If you didn't get that email, make sure you let me know so we can add you to our mailing list. I mean, the best way to do these interactive experiences is by leading those discussions with your student. In fact, it's the entire reason why we do this every single week, so that you can have a clearer window into the spiritual development of your student and to create a space where you're helping them grow into everything God created them to be. So if you need to pause the video and go download those discussion questions, please do so now. We're about to get into our series, but before we do, we would love to hear from you. We want to stay connected and check in, and so we have something called a connection card where we can do that. The connection card is found right on the main page of the LakePoint app, and so we would love if you would take the next 60 seconds and fill out that card. It's basically like signing our guest book and letting us know you were here. So let's take the next 60 seconds and fill out the card together. Thank you so much for completing the connection card and signing our guest book. Now, every week here at Junior High, we have some friendly family competition. And today, you and the family are going to be making tough decisions. This is a game called Would You Rather. It's a very simple game, and I'm just gonna ask you a series of questions that start with the words, would you rather? And then I'm gonna finish that sentence with 2 options. You have to pick an option with only 5 seconds to spare. It sounds easy, but some of these questions might have you not wanting to do either. Here we go. Would you rather be a detective or a pilot? Would you rather be a detective or a pilot? Would you rather go skiing or go to a water park? Would you rather go skiing or go to a water park? Would you rather play hide and seek or dodgeball? Would you rather play hide and seek or dodgeball? Would you rather be incredibly funny or incredibly smart? Would you rather be incredibly funny or incredibly smart? Would you rather become 5 years older or 5 years younger? Would you rather become 5 years older or 5 years younger? Would you rather brush your teeth with soap or drink sour milk? Would you rather brush your teeth with soap or drink sour milk? Would you rather have weather that's warm and raining or cold and snowing? Would you rather have weather that's warm and raining or cold and snowing? Would you rather be able to create a new holiday or create a new sport? Would you rather be able to create a new holiday or create a new sport? Would you rather be able to see things that are very far away, like binoculars, or be able to see things very close up, like a microscope? Would you rather be able to see things that are very far away, like binoculars, or be able to see things very close up, like a microscope? And last one, would you rather be able to type very fast or be able to read really quickly? Would you rather be able to type very fast or be able to read really quickly? All right, I'm so curious to know which ones you choose. I mean, drinking sour milk and brushing your teeth with soap are both so awful. Well, as fun as that was, we are gonna switch gears and head into the teaching portion of junior high, and I'm really excited for our final week in our series called No Matter What, so why don't you check it out?
Easter, everybody! I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite holidays to celebrate together with everyone. In fact, it's one of my favorite holidays to celebrate no matter what. Now, the reason why I love Easter so much, like one of my favorite memories of Easter is every year when I was growing up, we had like an Easter Easter egg decorating contest, and I was probably like the best Easter egg decorator in my town. Like, I was amazing. That's one of my favorite memories of Easter. And see what I mean? Easter is awesome. And not just because of the candy and the games and the good food and the time with family and even like the Easter egg decorating, all that stuff. Easter is something worth celebrating because it's a day that reminds us of something amazing God did to show us that He loves us and wants to be in relationship with us, no matter what. What exactly am I talking about? Well, at Easter, we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. That word, resurrection, means that Jesus died and came back to life. And that's something worth celebrating because, well, first, it's just cool. How often does someone just die and then come back to life? Second, it means that death is defeated. Plus, it means that nothing can separate us from God's love. No sin, no mistake, no misstep, no decision. Because of Jesus and what He did for us at Easter, we can know we are loved, accepted, and forgiven by God, no matter what. Now maybe you're like, cool story and all, but I don't see how Jesus coming back to life has anything to do with me or my life. How is it even possible for God to love me no matter what? If that's how you feel, then I'd say that I totally understand. I felt that way before too. And honestly, sometimes I still do. Even though I believe in God and know how much He loves me, I also know I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. And because of that, it can be hard to feel like I really am loved and accepted and forgiven by God no matter what. I think that happens for a lot of reasons. When we make bad choices, it's easy to feel like God's far away. After all, He knows that we cheated on our test, or lied to that adult, or looked at those pictures online, or posted that mean thing about our friend on social media. There's no way He'd want to be close to us, right? And sometimes we feel guilty about the things we've done. And because of that, we hide from God. We stop spending time with Him or talking to Him or showing up at church because we feel like we don't deserve to be there. After what we did, well, it just seems like there's no way God would want much to do with us. And besides, we already feel bad enough about our mistakes. Do we really need God to remind us that what we did was wrong? Or sometimes when we mess up, we feel like God's mad at us. After all, it seems like God wants us to live really good and almost perfect lives, right? It's easy to feel like He's mad when we make mistakes, or that He's disappointed because not only have we messed up, but we keep messing up. We just can't seem to stop making some of our bad choices, and because of that, we feel like God is mad or frustrated or maybe even done with us completely. Big or small, our mistakes have a way of making us feel like after what we've done, no one could actually love and accept us. Nobody could truly forgive us, especially not God. But the good news is, that's where Easter comes in. All that stuff about Jesus dying for our sins and offering us forgiveness, His resurrection making a way for us to be close to God forever, well, it's true. And believing this for ourselves has the power to change everything. To help us see what I'm talking about, let's look at an encounter Jesus had in the New Testament, the part of the Bible that was written after He came to earth. The encounter was with a guy named Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends and followers during His ministry. Now, Peter was a fisherman who completely left his life and career to follow Jesus. He eventually became one of the leaders in the early church and shared the message and hope of Jesus with others. So you'd probably look at a guy like Peter and think he pretty much had it all together. No mistakes, no mess ups, nothing to keep him from being loved and accepted and forgiven by God, right? Not so fast. See, Peter was also known for making some pretty big mistakes. He had a way of acting first and thinking later, which turned into a recipe for a lot of major mess ups in his life. And one of the biggest happened right around Easter. As Jesus was nearing the end of His life, He knew what was coming. He knew that He was going to be captured and killed on a cross. And He knew that this meant a lot of potential pain and danger for His disciples, including Peter. After all, they had dedicated their lives to following Jesus. They were closer to Him than anyone. So when Jesus, their leader, was arrested and taken to be killed, of course they'd be in danger of being taken with Him. To prepare them for what was ahead, Jesus warned His disciples of the events about to take place. And Peter, well, he promised to stand by Jesus to the death. But when it came down to it, and Jesus actually was arrested, what did Peter do? He denied even knowing Jesus. Not once, not twice, but 3 different times that night. Yikes. Talk about messing up. I can't imagine coming back from that. After Jesus' death, Peter and the other disciples weren't sure what to do. Their friend and teacher had been killed, and they were left alone, afraid, and in Peter's case, guilty. But then, that amazing thing we celebrate at Easter still happened. Jesus rose from the dead. He came back to life, and one of the first things he did was seek out his friends, including Peter. After Jesus' resurrection, his friends actually went back to their old lives. So, Peter went back to being a fisherman. One night, when the disciples were out fishing with no luck, someone from the shore called to them. To the disciples' surprise, it was Jesus. Peter straight up drove right into the water and swam to the shore just to see him again. In his last moments alive, Peter had denied knowing Jesus at all, 3 times. Because of that, you might think that Jesus greeted Peter here with, shall we say, less than a warm welcome, but look at what happened. After breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," Peter replied. "You know I love you." "Then feed my lambs," Jesus told him. Jesus repeated the question, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know I love you." "Then take care of my sheep," Jesus said. A third time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question a third time. He said, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." Jesus gave Peter a chance to right his wrongs. How many times did Peter deny knowing Jesus? 3. And how many times did Jesus give Peter the chance to show that he loved him? 3. That right there is pretty incredible. I think Jesus knew the guilt Peter must have been carrying around. I think he knew that Peter probably felt like his failures kept him from God's love or forgiveness. But here, Jesus extends not 1, not 2, but 3 chances for Peter to make it right, to be forgiven. And not just that, Jesus wanted Peter to continue to have a place in God's story. So often I think we feel like our own mistakes or failures not only keep us from God's love, but they keep him from wanting to use us for big and important things in this world. But when Jesus asked Peter to take care of his sheep here, he wasn't talking about like actual sheep, though that might be cool. He was talking about his followers, other Christians who would one day come to know and follow Jesus too. That's a pretty big job. And it's one that Jesus offered to Peter because he loved him. He believed in him and knew that his failures weren't the end of the story. And I want you to know that the same is true for you. Your mistakes and mess ups don't disqualify you from God's love. They don't keep you from being close to him or even being used to do great things for him. Because of Jesus' death and resurrection that we celebrate at Easter, you are forgiven. You are free to be loved by God no matter what. And that's something to celebrate. Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. Jesus didn't move away from Peter when he failed. Instead, Jesus came towards him. And the same is true for us. God moves towards us in the middle of our mistakes, offering us forgiveness and a chance to start again. So today and during this Easter season, I want you to think about what you feel is keeping you from God's love and forgiveness. Is it one bad choice? A series of mistakes? A secret that nobody knows about? Whatever it is, I want you to know that because of Jesus, that thing in your life doesn't have the power to separate you from God's love. It can't keep you from him. Why? Because of Easter. Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. And because you're forgiven, you don't have to worry about being separated from God. So today, make a choice to take one step closer towards God. Maybe for you, that's simply saying a prayer or committing to learn more about him by reading the Bible. Maybe it's listening to worship music and thinking about what the lyrics mean to you. Maybe it's asking for his forgiveness and help to start over. Or maybe it's just showing up at church next week to keep figuring out what you think about faith. Whatever it looks like for you, I want you to try to take a step towards God in your life this week, knowing that there is nothing that can separate you from him. Why? Because Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. Over the past 3 weeks, we've been talking a lot about the Easter season and what Jesus' ultimate sacrifice meant, not only thousands of years ago, but for all of us right now as well. These people in the Bible saw and experienced the resurrection of Jesus with their own eyes. We can believe it's true because they shared about it with us. Through John's story, we're reminded that we're loved no matter what. The task of spreading the word of Jesus' resurrection was given to Mary Magdalene, showing us that we're important no matter what. And we just learned through Peter's experience that with Jesus, that we're forgiven no matter what. Because Jesus died and came back to life for all of us. We're loved, important, and forgiven no matter what. Nothing can change that. I think that's something to celebrate. As we go into groups today, you'll have a chance to talk about all the things we're reminded of and celebrate at Easter. We've created these groups so that you have a place to talk honestly about what you're learning here. They're a place you can speak up with your questions, celebrate big steps you take in faith, and encourage each other to keep going and believing God's best for your lives. Sharing with your group might be the best step you take towards God in your life right now.
What a great way to end this series and to wrap up the Easter season. Because of Jesus' death and resurrection, we're forgiven. And Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. What I love about the story of Peter on the beach with Jesus is that it shows that God moves towards us in the middle of our mistakes, and he offers us forgiveness and a chance to start again. Guys, that's powerful. I don't know anyone, even the people who are closest to me, who would do something like that. But God does. I mean, think about what you feel is keeping you from God's love and forgiveness. Think about the things that cause you to feel guilty and experience shame. Maybe it's an argument you had with a sibling. Maybe you cheated on a quiz or borrowed someone else's homework and said it was yours. Maybe you lied about where you and your friends were going, or maybe the friends you were with. Maybe you ate all the Easter candy and said it was the cat. Whatever it is, those things don't have to keep you and God separated. You can make a choice and step towards God and accept his grace and forgiveness. And so maybe for you, that could be praying. It could be understanding more about God's grace and just learning more about it. It could be listening to worship music. It could be asking for forgiveness. Remember, Easter reminds us we're forgiven no matter what. Thanks so much for participating today, everyone. Remember to post a photo of your family participating today in our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group, and you could be the proud winner of a $10 gift card to the store or restaurant of your choice. To close our time this morning, take the next 2 minutes to pray together as a family, and then head to the LakePoint app to access our weekday devotionals that go along with our series. You'll find them in the Family Resources section, and you can also find the link in the video description right below me. Have a wonderful week, friends, and, enjoy your spring break. We'll see you next week.